Pakistan Army Amendment Act of 2023 has been passed by the Senate, and it amends the Pakistan Army Act of 1952. Before going into the law itself and what it says, it's important to point towards the manner in which it was passed. The law was passed with virtually no debate in the Senate, and we've seen how various laws which are being tabled by members of this government are being passed without any debate. And at the heart of any parliamentary democracy is debate on proposed legislation. And we've seen how various laws are being passed in a hasty manner, and hasty legislation is often bad legislation. So questions need to be asked on the manner in which Parliament is passing laws and what the urgency is and why laws are being passed in this manner. Now, coming to the law itself, and what it does is it brings certain changes to the Army Act of 1952. One of the changes is the insertion of Section 176AA. This gives the Army Chief the power to issue instructions to carry into effect the provisions of the Army Act. Previously, the Army Chief did not have this power, and under the Army Act, the federal government has the power to issue rules or to make rules to carry into effect the provisions of the Army Act. So it's not clear, and no reason has been given as to why the Army Chief requires similar powers. One of the other changes is that various criminal offenses have been created, and military courts have been given jurisdiction over those offenses. So, for instance, Section 55C has been inserted, which relates to defamation and which criminalizes ridiculing or bringing into ridicule or scandalizing the members of the armed forces. And what is crucial is that it applies to both serving and retired military officials. Now, to the extent that these amendments apply to retired army officers, this is controversial because retired army officers are no longer subject to the system of military discipline, and yet they are being subjected to trial by court-martial for certain offenses such as the defamation or defaming the armed forces. An offense has also been created under the Army Act if you commit an offense under the Prevention of Electronic Crimes Act or other media laws. So if a serving military officer or a retired military officer commits an offense under the Prevention of Electronic Crimes Act or other media laws, they can also be subjected to a trial by military courts. And previously, court-martial or military courts did not have such extensive jurisdiction over retired military officers. So this extends quite significantly the jurisdiction of military courts over retired officers. And essentially, the amendments do increase not only the powers of the Army Chief, but also the jurisdiction of court-martials.